This is where we deep dive into ServiceNow topics with the people who build them and use them on daily basis.
Awesome. Thanks, Dhruv. We're live. Today we're talking about security, something every
Yeah, we
developer
are live, I guess.
on the product should care
So,
about.
hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of Now Unscripted. So, by the end of this episode, you all should have some actionable insights how to strengthen the security in the ServiceNow ecosystem. And before we start, let's introduce ourselves. So, yes, you want to go first since you're on the top.
Sure, I'm Jace. I've been working on ServiceNow since 2007. I've seen a lot of things. Doesn't mean I know everything, but I'm glad to be here talking with these experts. Go ahead, Dhruv.
Hi everyone, my name is Dhruv, ServiceNow MVP, Google Hall of Famer, working for a finance company based out of Netherlands, and I'm really excited about this. And I think we can share some stories later on. But for now, Bhakti, you go for.
All right, thank you, Jace and Dhruv. We are super excited here to join you all and your audience and your fan base. That scares me, Jace, that you know ServiceNow more than me. So hope you are not going to grill me too much. But having said that, my name is Bhakti Pitre. I lead ServiceNow Vault product at ServiceNow. The product is, as Jace introduced the episode, is on security. So we are quite excited to talk to you all about the security and why you should care if you don't already. So with that, I'll give it to Pratik.
Thank you, Bhakti, and thank you, Jace and Drew, for having us over here and talk about security. I know truly it's a topic that everyone wants to listen and learn more about it. So I'm the product manager for access control, working in platform security. I've been with ServiceNow since more than 5 years. Uh, I don't claim I know everything, but I'll be happy to share my learnings and the things that I know from in terms of access control with all of you.
Awesome. Well, let's start talking about it. For those unfamiliar, Pratik and Bhatti, what are the core principles of like access controls in ServiceNow?
Um, Bhakti, should I go first?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we all know that when it comes to access control in the service now, right? Everyone talks about ACLs. So with ACLs, you can define whether you have read, write, delete permission to do operations on the data. But with that, it also allows you to define more operations like executes, or you can whether you can view report view on the system or not. So as a part of ACL evaluation or a criteria, we evaluate four conditions: roles, attributes, data conditions, and script, which get enforced on the tables or fields or record levels, right? Now, with the new feature releases in Xanadu and Yokohama, you have more powers with deny ACLs and data filters. So now the question or the principles, when there is a question about principles on how to use it, so what I always recommend is that don't get overwhelmed with all these controls. Think about creating a funnel or layered approach, with each control giving you a specific access to the data and how you narrow down the access. So for example, let's say you can start with a deny ACLs and say, I want to explicitly deny access to the data unless user prove the identity, right? And then you can add more ACLs on top of it to granularize your access control with attributes and roles. So my recommendation will be like always think about a layered approach, a layered funnel approach, and narrow down your access with each specific controls.
Yeah, I'll just add real quick on top of what Pratik said, right? I mean, he talked about the detailing of how the access control hierarchy could look like when you have to solve the access control problem. But my recommendation to all of you is start with the use case. Don't start with, oh, I know there is a role, there is a permission, there is a data filter on ServiceNow platform. How can I use it? Start the other way around. First, understand what's the use case that you are trying to solve when it comes to access, and then try to find out which of the tool on ServiceNow platform could be more useful, right? Because it could quickly get very complex with access controls. So I would say that try to keep them simple as you can. Start with the use case, and then, as Pratik has mentioned, go with the funnel approach.
Cool. I like that. Um, yeah, the deny ACLs are brand new or recently new, right? So that's a whole new paradigm. I'm excited to see how ServiceNow changes or re-architects their security going forward.
Exactly. And you might deal with you not might but definitely deal with customers on daily basis. So what are some common mistakes and misconceptions that customers have while setting up the access control? Because from where I see, there should be a lot, because it has changed a lot. So just fire up.
Great question. I would say the first misconception, or I would say more ACLs are better, or complex access control is better, right? That's not true. As Bhakti mentioned, start with use cases, business needs. Try to understand how you can simplify it. Uh, because with more ACLs, you can have some overlapping conditions where it makes hard to debug, it makes hard to audit, like which ACLs is granting an access, right? With scripted ACLs, you need specific skills because it's scripted, it's code. You need specific skills to understand the code and evaluate ACLs. So I would say the first misconception that I would say is like more ACLs are and complex ACLs are not better. Simplify your use cases, right? And that leads us to the right permissions. Not like not having a broader access on the platform via roles is the best way to solve security. When it comes to users, define the granularized role. Not like, for example, oh, I need admin privileges in order to do this work. That means that access control is broken. You don't need admin privileges to do the work, right? um, Break down your roles into kind of jobs to be done or responsibility of a user, and then assign it with access controls. So to summarize, I would say two misconceptions: more ACLs and complex ACLs are not better, and focus on the least privilege access. Don't focus on broader access.
Yeah. And I will add to what Jace was asking, right? What's new that we have released in last 1 year and why, right? I mean, access control existed, I believe, as long as ServiceNow did. And access control is kind of a basis for any organization to give access to their users, be it the user, which is human, and now the non-humans, right? Like agents, the AIs, the LLMs, the service accounts, and stuff like that, right? So when we looked at access controls that we have built on ServiceNow already, they are already very strong. They are very agile. You can customize them, as Pratik said, right? Which is fantastic, especially for developers. That's like the paradigm, right? Or paradise, I would say, is that, oh, I can just do whatever I want because they are so flexible. But I think when we talk about the security, this is something I will caution all the developers, because the sky is the limit with access controls. I would still caution you that when you are building those access controls, be very, I would say, mindful about the customizations that you are introducing into the platform, right? Especially in the access space, because these scripted ACLs could become an eventual issue for you. Not saying you should not use them, you must when you need to follow the business needs, right? But just evaluate all the existing standard access controls before making a decision that, hey, now I need to write the scripted ACL. That shouldn't be your first choice. That would be my advice. And then what we have released last year is complementary to everything that already existed on ServiceNow platform to secure the platform, which is Deny-Unless ACL, which, by the way, is our favorite, because I think that gives you the maximum security that you can apply on ServiceNow platform, where you can just deny the access from get go. And I will have actually Pratik to let you know how the evaluation happens, so you can understand that how why the layering is very important when you actually build the access controls. So the first one is a Deny-Unless ACLs, which basically gives you the maximum security. We recommend customers to kind of take a look at it, see if it makes sense to their security and risk posture, and go ahead and use it. Second one that we implemented was query ACLs. Pratik was talking about the execution and the queries. That's another feature that we have introduced. The next one that I believe, Pratik, is coming up in Yokohama is pre-data filters,
It's a
pre-query data,
security data filters.
security data filters.
Yeah.
So this is an exciting stuff that's going to come up, or it's already out. it's getting out somewhere there, right? It's there, it's going to come. But basically what it's going to do is to let the customers filter the data even before it get queried into the database. This is an amazing feature for you to retrieve the data set that you actually want to retrieve, rather than retrieving a big data set and then doing the filtering on top of it, for both reasons, one for performance and another for security, right? It's always best to have the smaller data set, specific data set, because it improves your performance and it also gives you the security. So there are lesser chances of data leak with that. But if it is okay, Jess, can I pass it back to Pratik, because I wanted Pratik to kind of go through the evaluation of the layering of ACLs.
Yeah, before that, I have just one question. Heard you saying data filter, but it- I remember presenting somewhere around data filtration. So how they are different and
Yes,
how?
they are. Yes, they are. Why don't you take both the questions, Pratik?
Yeah. So yes, there is a wordplay over here. We have existing protocol data filtration, which is a way to filter data post query. You can define your subject criteria, your network criteria, other criteria, and says, okay, based on this criteria, I want to filter the data, right? But uh, we are deprecating the data filtration in Yokohama, and we'll be doing support we'll doing end of support for existing customers in Australia release, right? But secure data filter is a better version of it. That means secure data filters, once you define the secure data filters, data won't even leave the database if you don't want it, right? So that filter criteria is appended in the query, and data won't even leave the database based on the filter criteria. So it's a better version of existing data filtration. And with a combination of deny ACLs and data filtration, you will be able to achieve all the use cases that you have for data filtration, which
I
and
feel like I
it's
just got
also better security.
blindsided. I didn't hear about this until just now. So hold on, data filtration's out and security filters are in.
Yes, in
Okay.
Yokohama, yes. So we did communication to all the existing customers who use data filtration, and we are also publishing a lot of artifacts to show like how existing data filtration can be translated with these new controls, which provides a better security. So we are doing all this enablement and training for customers. So if you are one of the customers who use this, there is a communication that is already out, and there is a KB outside which showcase these use cases to all of you, right? So we'll be doing full training, and please reach out to me if you have still more questions. I'll be happy to help you transition through the journey. uh, Now, when coming to the deny ACL, right? When I say combination of deny ACLs and data filter, secure data filters is a really good use case. So deny ACLs are prioritized in the evaluation criteria. That means if there is a one denial via deny ACL, no other ACL can grant you an access. So it's pretty strong. And if you have combination of multiple deny ACLs on the tables or field, then all the deny ACLs need to pass, which is not true, which is not like a allow ACL where only one allow ACL need to pass and you are allowed an access, because it says allow ACL, right? So denial is pretty strong. It's evaluated on the top before all the ACLs, and you need to pass all the deny ACLs in order to pass the access, right? Uh, so now think about like when it comes to layered approach, you have this deny ACLs on the top, which is explicit denial. Now you go down and says I want to define filter criteria based on the location for the users. Says if my user is in the US, then I want only access to the US data. If my user is in Europe, then I want to grant an access to only European data, right? So add a security data filter on top of it. You have pretty strong security. Your denial says, okay, only grant an access to this role, and then your data filters granularized further access based on the location.
Yeah, and I just wanted to clarify though, Jace, that just because we are giving a limited support to data filtration, which exists already, doesn't mean that the use cases that customers are solving with that feature need a new house. It doesn't, right? We are giving the pre-query data filters along with other controls that can be used to solve exact same use case. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody here understands that business can keep going. It's just that we are making more secure behind the scene by working with our customers and their admins and their developers, right? I
Mhm.
just don't want anybody to panic that nothing is going away
Yeah,
without giving
you
away.
created panic because just before the stream, I was with my team for planning for a new app, and for that I proposed data filtration, and tomorrow I have to go back and tell them, oh, Now that's the benefit of the stream. So yeah, everyone should watch this. And
Yes, but Dhruv, you can go back and tell them that now I have even more secure and performant way of doing it, right?
yeah, I was not aware of security thing coming up because I went through all the release notes of Yokohama, but still couldn't figure out. So I can feel all the customers now.
See, that's the benefit of
But
you guys hosting us.
okay, on screen we have ServiceNow Vault. So not everyone may be familiar with Vault. Can you explain what it is, how it is different from traditional security solutions where we do key-based something?
Yes, absolutely. And I just wanted to clarify one thing, right? ServiceNow platform is secure by default. As Pratik was mentioning, we have amazing controls, security controls, access controls on ServiceNow platform included with the platform when customers come and purchase ServiceNow apps, right? So it's already very solid. What Vault provides is that advanced or premium security on top of already secured platform, right? So ServiceNow Vault in nutshell is the bundle of security products which provides customer defense in depth on top of a secure platform, right? So if you ask what does it really comprise of, so right now it has five different security products that are bundled under it. So ServiceNow Vault, the first one we have is the platform encryption. As most of you could know, this is like the basic must have, you need it type of security on any platform, any app that you go to. Those who don't know what encryption is, in nutshell, it's basically where you can secure your data and only the people with the key to the data can access the data, nobody else can. So we build the platform encryption with the volume encryption and column level encryption aspect. What is the difference? Volume means it will encrypt everything on the ServiceNow platform. Column means that you can pick and choose which specific columns that you want to encrypt to make sure that there is additional security for those columns. Now, the example of those columns could be, say, SSN number. Another example could be email address. Anything PII, which is personally identifiable data, could be considered for column level encryption to add and one more layer of security, right? So as you could see, there is a theme in ServiceNow where we give layers and layers and layers of security. It's for a reason, right? Because when the attacker, if you see the attacker behavior in a way, it's always good to have more controls in place than one, right? So the second one we have is the data privacy. It's a very interesting product. I highly encourage all the developers and whoever is attending this episode today to kind of take a look at it. Why? Because with in today's DNA, the most important aspect is the data. And for you to understand the power of your data, first you need to discover where the data is, and data privacy actually lets you discover the data on ServiceNow platform. Once you know what your data is, next it lets you do the classification, meaning to say that you can classify your data internal, public, external, restricted, stuff like that. Why it is important? Because that then drives the access to the data. So data privacy has data discovery, data classification, and then there is a data protection tool called anonymization. So if customer wants to anonymize any PII data on ServiceNow platform, they can do it in a performant way when they use the data privacy product. So that's another one. So we bundle it together. The third one is very interesting one, which is zero trust access. So I believe many of you already might know ServiceNow has adaptive authentication framework, which lets you write the authentication policies to restrict the access to the ServiceNow platform. Zero trust access product is built on top of it, which basically lets you create the least privilege access situation based on the user elements, like where you are coming from, which location, what IP, what role, etc. Right? So that's more like a zero trust access. Many of you might know zero trust architecture framework. It is inspired by that, as you can see the name. Third and fourth and fifth one that we have is a code signing. I would say this might be the exciting tool for all the developers to make sure that their code, when moves from mid server to the cloud, it's untampered, it's tamper free, right? So code signing does provide that security to the code when it's in motion. And moving between the mid server and cloud. And last but not the least is a log export service. As that name suggests, it lets you export out the logs from ServiceNow platform, let them get collaborated, consolidated in the customer's log collector. Example could be Splunk, or Sumo Logic, for example, right? And then customers can derive some alerts, notification, conclusions, insights from those collected logs. So if you ask me why the bundle, as I started with, it's a defense in depth. And now you can see that how we cover the data and user protection across all these 5 different products. So that's more like a 3 to 4 minutes of rundown of Vault. That's what Vault is, and everybody should know about it.
It does sound like a lot of awesome products bundled together,
Yeah.
for sure. Can you share like a real world example of using one of those products? And
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, and can people try this on their PDIs if they want to try it out?
Yes. So with I'll answer second one first. So Vault product is the monetizable paid product. So customer need to have a license to use these products. Having said that, data privacy product is available for trial for first 30 days. So you can go ahead, try out, discover your data, anonymize the data in subprod, and play around with the product and see the value. And I'm sure within a day or two you will quickly realize the value of this product. um, uh, Other than that, I think zero trust access, all of those are under, you need an entitlement for those. Log export service, I believe there is initial, some terabytes are, I don't remember the exact number, but there are some terabytes that can be free. But after that, as your data, log data becomes big, it based on the size of the log file, right? So short answer, Jace, is you need an entitlement to kind of try it out, but you can work with us, and we can help you with that. And going back to the real life example, which is more exciting part, is what I feel. I mean, we worked with many customers who are currently using ServiceNow Vault, and they already started seeing benefits, right? I mean, and the interesting part is Vault is a product which is applicable to any industry. It's not specific to the finance industry or manufacturing industry or the regulated market, the Fed industry. It's if there is a data, if there is a user, and you care about it, you need to have a strong tool like Vault on ServiceNow platform to protect that data and those users, right? So one of the example I could give you is, I think we have a customer from big customers from financial market who are using zero trust access to kind of reduce the privileges of users who are logging into the platform based on which locations they are logging into, or if they are logging into the ServiceNow platform using their secure network, for example, VPN, or they are logging in from corporate, then they get all the accesses, right? Say, for example, admin is trying to log into the ServiceNow platform from corporate network, admin can be admin. But when the same admin goes to the Starbucks and try to use the Wi-Fi to log into the ServiceNow platform, then that admin all of a sudden just becomes a requester. He can't do much. He doesn't have access to all those privileged data that he used to, or the configuration that he or she used to, right? So that's a real life example that we have seen customers implementing. There are many code signing for that matter, right? We have many customers who have mid server and cloud implementation, right? And they are currently using code signing to make sure that the code flows between the cloud and the mid is signed, so that they have the peace of mind that it's tamper free. I mean, I can give you so many of them, Jace, but I want to
Perfect.
be respectful of time.
Yeah.
No. Who are the key personas? Like, is it if I want to get this in my organization, uh, I think I should go to product owner, or should I go to platform owner, or security team? Who would be your go-to target, or the key people who would be helpful?
I love that question. I absolutely love it, and I'll tell you why I love that question, Dhruv. Is because many a time what happens is we know, like we I am putting us into like one bucket where like we are developers or we are admins, and we know that, oh, we have been asked by business to kind of build this app in a secure way, or I need to secure my data, but who should I go and tell that I need this from ServiceNow, right? And that's why I really love your question, Dhruv, that you know that you asked that who should you go if you want to have a vault on ServiceNow platform. So I would say start with your product owner, because as you could see, it's a platform security feature, right? So whoever owns the platform in your organization, I would say you should approach them first. Having said that, if you think about, so that I would say more like a buyer persona, right? So there are two types of persona: somebody who makes the purchasing decision, and then somebody who then uses the product. To that, I would say that the user persona in this case could be mostly admins. We have built the product for admins. But having said that, we have seen in different organizations that maybe sometimes non-admin personas also are responsible for security or the risk management, and they come and use the ServiceNow Vault product. But if you want to get this product, then you should definitely talk to your product owner. I would say also have a discussion with your CISO org, who then can provide you more insight as to how to evaluate this product to make sure that it fits the need that your organization has. By the way, we have done so many calls like that in the past with other customers. So we spoke with their security org, we clarified their concerns and questions. So we have seen that kind of pattern as well, where CISO org and the platform owner come together, ask for it. Another angle I will give you is sometimes the risk teams come and ask about it, right? Because they are worried about the data on the platform, and what is customer doing about protecting them. So they kind of come through the risk team as well to see, how can I manage the data risk on ServiceNow platform. I've seen more of that on data privacy, for example. And by the way, I also have seen developers coming and asking about code signing, and then going to their platform owner and saying that I need this because it helps me secure my code. So yeah, so those were few people that you can go to, but platform admin, platform owner will be the first ones I would say you should go and talk to.
And I'll just drop one more question here. Like, how is it connected to the existing security products, like maybe IRM or Share, or maybe is it connected or how it is?
That's a great question. It's on our roadmap for sure. So ServiceNow also have enterprise security products like IRM, vulnerability management, SIR. So the way we are thinking about it, let me give an example of how we are thinking about it on roadmap is, for example, if it is a log export service, then we are thinking about, hey, can we identify something in the log and then connect it to the SIR where security incident can get created, and then it can be processed and stuff like that. Does it exist today? It doesn't. Is it on our roadmap? Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Um, I lost where I was. Give me just a second here before I lose my mind here. Um, how does Vault align with the bigger security trends like zero trust and compliance automation?
I mean, zero trust, you can already tell sneakily that it's already in there because of the
Yeah.
third product that we have up there, which is zero trust access. So the way we think about all of our products that we build, we try to take the inspiration from the regulations, the compliances that are out there, because we do understand that our customers have to comply with them, and they find it really difficult to do it on their own. So we really wanted to make sure that we build the product which align with the compliance and regulatory requirements that our customers might have. We might not be solving for all, but we definitely are striving for all, right? So with that, zero trust access is one of the example where it aligns completely with the zero trust architecture. I mean, the inspiration is from there, I would say, right? And specific focus there is on three principles. The first one is least privilege access, second one is continuous authentication, and third one is assume breach, right? So we have taken the inspiration from those principles, which is under zero trust architecture recommendations, and then we build the product around it, right? Encryption, you pick up any regulation and you will have that in there, right? You name it NIST, Fed, zero trust, whatever that you call encryption exists there, data privacy, GDPR, and any local or state regulations, we align with them. Code signing again is a part of NIST regulations, and log export, of course, is also part of some regulations, right? So as you could see, they definitely align with the compliance and the regulatory requirements that our customers have. But on top of that, we provide more. So we are not just like, oh, let's take the compliance and regulation and translate that into a product feature, right? We take the inspiration, but we make it better.
So, is it compliance automation related to, because many finance companies or various other domains as well are going for control automation? So, is that on the roadmap or?
Help me understand what you mean by controlled automation.
Yeah, so I'm in Netherlands, and we have lots of regulations specifically for Europe, and we have to manage lots of controls and everything for every product. And then you said NIST, so we have CSF, ITCF, and NIST, and we have to manually take these screenshots and upload them as a proof as a TOD or TOE. So I really want to use ServiceNow for that because we already have GRC up and running, and we can automate stuff at least for entities.
Yes, I don't know if what I'm going to respond is going to directly answer your question, but I'm going to try. Right. So what I understand from you is the requirement that you as a customer has is that uh, there are regulatory requirements where you have to prove uh, how the security has been implemented or how access has been implemented, and it will be easier for you if you have a system that you can go to get that data, some screenshots or some reports or some dashboard, give it to the auditors, and they should be satisfied, right? That's more like a use case I understood from you in terms of controlled automation, right? So to that, good that you brought it up, because something that we have which is very exciting, we think hopefully everybody else also feels the same way when they see it, is a product that we have it on our roadmap called Vault Console. So as you could see, you see 5 different products there, right? But then when it comes to you, when say for example you purchased all these purchased the whole bundle because you want the security and defense, but then how do you start? Like, should I go with encryption first, core signing second, zero trust later? I don't know, where should I start? I mean, we have seen many of our customers might be getting into that pattern of they don't know where to start. So what we are doing is we are coming with a product called Vault Console, which basically lets you do use this product in a very unified consolidated, I'm so sorry, consolidated and collaborated way. What do I mean by that is Vault Console will guide you to discover apps that you have on ServiceNow platform, then to let you know what data do you have in those applications. So discover the data, if you remember. Once you discover that data, it will then guide you to classify that data with recommendation, by the way. So you don't have to think on your own. But once you classify that data, you can use that classification to then apply the protection controls like encryption, like zero trust access, like anonymization on a basis of classification. Once you do all of that, now I'm coming to what Dhruv you have asked. Then we have compliance and monitoring. So what it does is it actually gives you different dashboards as to how much of your data is complied, how much of your data is classified, how many of your columns are encrypted, which are not encrypted. If there are users who are downloading any sensitive data which they should not, all of that will be available to you under the comply and monitor section of Vault Console. So I don't know if I answered your question, to be honest with you, but I felt like this is nearer to what you might be looking for.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get a control tower kind of a thing, then who? What else I can ask for as a security guy?
Awesome, great.
Okay, you mentioned recommendations, and whenever I hear recommendation, I think around AI. Like it might be the marketing gig or whatever, but with AI evolving, do you see AI playing a role in managing access control in ServiceNow specifically?
Pratik, why don't you
Uh,
take that one?
I think it's a must, absolutely. I don't foresee a future of software without AI, right? AI will play a crucial role in anything that we do. Um, and when it comes to specific access control, there is a lot of opportunity, to use AI in order to do recommendation or make our life easy. Like for example, AI can help us with finding anomaly in access patterns, right, or role optimizations, overprivileged accounts to reduce the access and focus on least privilege. Access summarization to translate our complex ACLs or multiple ACLs into access summaries for non-technical platform owners to understand how the access is involved. You talk about compliance and risk, right? That AI can help the summarization of access and can help auditor to understand how you are configuring all the access with different controls on the platform. So definitely AI will play a crucial role in access management, uh, from the provision to proving it whether you have the right access or not. AI will play definitely a crucial role over there.
That's awesome. I love that. AI is so everywhere right now. Everybody's talking about it, and it's definitely it's definitely something that is just it's crazy. Let's shift for focus for a second here, though. How do you guys think that the access control? What do you think the access controls will evolve over the next 5 to 10 years in enterprise SaaS? Like,
Uh, I think it's a really good question. So, if you foresee the future, and we already discussed about the importance of AI in access control, right? So definitely, access control will be more of a adaptive kind of access control based on the user context or situation. So think about like a system helping you govern the access, right? uh, you would prefer a system where you say, okay, no user, you can define something like plain English sentences, no user should be able to access any data that does not belong to that location, just simple in English plain language. And then there is a agentic AI in access control that always makes sure that checks and balances in the system says no request should be able to get an access to the data that does not belong to them. That will be a really simple system. Forget about current ACLs where you have to define read write permissions. You just define something in a simple understanding, and then the system will take care of enforcing access on the platform. So that's what I see in the future, in next maybe 5-10 years, where you don't have to work hard to govern the access on the platform. You just have to define by mapping it with your business need, and then system will take over the access and prove that it works for you.
sounds like Minority Report to me.
So with that, I was wondering, Jess, if you could pull up the other slide that we have, how we have security layering. Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to make sure that your viewers kind of have that view. This is again like 30, 60, 50,000 view. There is so much packed into ServiceNow platform. But I just wanted to say that there is a security at every layer. Going with the theme, the layering that we have in ServiceNow, right? We have the infrastructure layer, we have security, we have platform security, then we have a domain separation for specific customers who are providing managed services, right? And then we have ServiceNow Vault sitting on top of all of it. So when you are using Vault, you are also using everything below that, right? So you kind of upgrade your security, as you can see this slide. Sorry, I know it was little off than what you have asked, but I wanted to make sure that your viewers have the view.
So, and I think this is a really good slide to explain more in detail, like what I was talking about, right? Access control is just not about ACLs or users or roles, right? Platform encryption, zero trust access, which is part of Vault bundle, is also part of access control. Uh, so think about, like, you don't have to worry about all these controls in a different way or using the right use cases. You just define, and then if you have Vault bundle, if you have core platform security with you, and then system will help you to determine everything. System will determine whether you want to enforce encryption based on your classification or not. You just have to define something, says always encrypt my classified data, right? And you define the classification category, and you don't have to worry about creating policies or anything around it. System will take care of you. That's what I see, the future of data protection in general. Probably it's in service now, and also probably might be in industry standard as well in the future.
The future looks bright, to be honest. You mentioned about Vault console coming up, but is there any more secrets that you can reveal? If you, I assume a safe harbor here, but
Yes, of course. And again, thank you for saying that. I should have said this at the beginning of the podcast. If I am sharing any roadmap items, please do not make those. Those are not promises, and do not make your purchase decision based on this particular episode. This is more like for you to know what exists and what I know about what exists. But I definitely encourage you to do your own research. You can reach out to our ServiceNow amazing teams who can help you understand more about these products, right? But going back to your question, Dhruv, and I'm going to connect back to what Jace was asking, which is AI, that everybody is talking about it. Like Pratik and everybody else, I think Jace, you too, and Dhruv, I'm counting you as well, that we all see that there is a big role that AI is going to play in every aspect, in every sector, right? Particularly for security, I'm super excited. And I tell you for two reasons. The first one is we can use AI to make security better. And the second one is we also need to secure AI itself. So now we have like two different ways to kind of utilize AI for ourselves when it comes to the security, right? And why I shared that is with you because Dhruv, yes, we do have more secrets and exciting things that we are packing up for ServiceNow Vault. And I just gave you the spoiler that it's going to be AI, right? So we will be infusing AI in ServiceNow Vault, starting, say, for example, with data privacy, where you can see the AI based data discovery. The theme is same as Pratik was mentioning, right? Where the world is going is, can I automate the repetitive task? Can somebody do that for me on my behalf while I'm making myself more intelligent on the business need, business processes, defining them, and then I also keep the control of those business processes, right? So that's what we call the human intervention in the AI world, where you supervise what AI might be doing for you, but AI is doing the repetitive task for you, for example, right? So you definitely will see a lot of AI from us in ServiceNow Vault across multiple products that you have seen. What those could be, I think we should have another episode on that one when we are kind of ready to kind of share all of those. But definitely you will see more AI from us. We are also looking at agentic AI and see how we can make that available to our awesome customers to make sure that they can take advantage of agents. Just now how we discuss, they can do a bunch of stuff for you.
we
Awesome.
definitely need a second episode.
Oh, go ahead, Dhruv.
We are happy to be here. I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, I really wanted to thank JCU and Dhruv, right? I know this is your very first episode, and I love, love, love that you prioritize security in your first episode. And this is something I have been seeing is as a trend across the market in the industry, is that I think people are becoming more and more aware of the security. No surprises there, because more and more we are becoming digitized and automated. So I really appreciate you both prioritizing security in your first episode. So yay to you.
Uh, we have a question in the chat like, can AI predict potential security threats based on ACL activity logs?
Uh, Really good question. I don't see why not. And Whether you have it today right now, that's a different question. But in terms of potential, for sure, AI can detect about any misconfigurations or any anomaly in the access patterns. Right. That's what I said. Like access pattern covers anything: ACL logs, data filters, any kind of access you're talking about. So for sure, yes.
Yeah, Dhruv, whoever has asked that question, to thank them on our behalf. They gave us a very good requirement, which we are thinking about putting it on the roadmap. As Pratik was saying, I think the short answer is yes. AI can do that. Should we do it? Yes, we are considering it. Why we are not fast enough is because, as you could imagine, there could be a lot of false positive. So we have to be very, very mindful when we are using AI into security space, right? Because there could be, you are, what is security? In the end, you are trying to find a needle in the haystack. That's what the security is, right? And you have all these different tools to make sure that needle doesn't fall into the hay. haystack, but it does. And then you are now finding it, which is like the reactive security in a way, as we say, respond, if we think about how the approach of security is, right? So definitely we think that AI could actually help us with finding that needle in the haystack situation, because AI is generally good at that. What we need to do as the security practitioner is to make sure that we build proper logic in those AI system, or the patterns, or the training data, that it actually gives you the right kind of threats and not giving you the noise, right? And that is the harder part to crack.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have heard about behavioral analytics, you might have heard about the continuous AI authentication products. It's hard to achieve the accurate results, but I think it's as any other software system, as we say, garbage in, garbage out. So we kind of have to make sure that the right data is in there.
I just want to follow up on that. To me, when somebody asks that question, to me that just sounds like, have you ever traveled with, you want to pay for something with your credit card, and then you get a phone call from the credit card company? Did you really just charge this to food or whatever it was? And you have to confirm that you in fact did charge this. You're normally not in Toronto, but today you are because of work reasons. It's like that, right? Because that's an anomaly in the transaction that you make. I
Exactly.
totally can see that happen. So
And you nailed it, Jace. This is exactly right. I mean, there could be legit reason that people are, but now I will give you the other side of this. You swipe your card at, say, US gas pump, and in next 5 minutes you swipe a card at, say, China gas pump. That seems like an anomaly, right? So that's what I'm talking about, that we as a security practitioner, we first have to define what that threat means. Then we have the data and AI who can then actually do the work for us. It just, the part is and that's why I said at the beginning of the episode as well, I think you all have to start thinking about the use case versus can I use a technology. I think we have to shift the mindset that, oh, what are my use cases, and then go and look for the technology that actually solves that use case. In some cases we don't need AI, for example, which
Yeah.
might be controversial to say in today's
I don't think that's controversial at all. Because I think if you can do it without AI, you should do it without AI.
yeah,
Because
right.
AI is not a magic pill, as everyone wants
The
to
Yeah,
main
and
believe.
you don't have to force AI, is what I'm trying to say. Having said that, I do see tremendous value that AI can add for sure.
And I personally feel I'm gonna misuse this as well because I'm gonna use it for upgrade test. Like with every release, I got new ACLs, new roles, and how we gonna control that? It's a hell lot of testing for me. Use access analyzer like crazy thing. So yeah, looking forward to it.
We've only got about 10 minutes left. I think we can try to bring this back for some more best practices and other things here. Do you mind if I start this off there, Drew?
Yep.
Cool. Hey, for teams designing access controls, and I know you've talked about before, starting with the use case, but how do you balance security and usability? You can make something so secure it's not usable versus, when ServiceNow initially came out, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was all open. Like you
Yeah,
had to deny everything. I was getting around my admin security that they were putting in because like they had to block every single thing out. And then there was like this 2007 security plugin that they had to install to like lock it all down. Right. I mean, I go way back, but I know it's all different. What, how do you balance security and usability?
I think it's really good question, and I think I will fall back onto what Bhakti has mentioned earlier. Focus on business need and use cases, right? If you have defined the concrete business need and use cases and determine the roles that needed to perform those tasks, and then go with a layered approach by breaking down your access at each different layer. I think you will have pretty good security with better usability, and also I will fall back to my previous comment on not like having a lot of ACLs or complex access is not the right solution always. Focus on the simplicity. Uh, Not just test happy path, test all the scenarios. So combination of those three things, I would say, keep your business need and requirements in the mind. Focus on least privilege and simplify your solution and test all the scenarios, just not happy path. I think combination of all those three things can uh, is a sweet spot between security and usability.
Yeah, I would add to that. I mean, I have been in security space for almost now 15 years, with my developer experience plus my product experience. I don't think I ever was able to have an answer for this question, Jace, to be honest with you. I don't think I ever will find one. uh, Historically, it was looked at that, oh, if there is a security, it's going to be a crappy user experience. We came away ahead of that, if I have to say, right? And I remember that, right? Because then we have those crappy login screens, and then it has like the archaic look of it, and you don't even know what you're typing and where it is going, to now we have the passwordless, right? So we are getting there. But I would say, to have frictionless security, I think that's a dream for our security practitioner. Can we achieve it? I don't know. Because sometimes I believe, and again, this could be also controversial, that having that touch points in security are needed. If you completely automate the security, and this is something I remember one of my colleague from previous org has mentioned to me, and it always stuck with me. I think I can take his name. His name is Eric Lee Saint. He's an amazing, amazing, amazing guy. You should look him up. He's on LinkedIn. He mentioned to me during lunchtime in my previous job that when you are building a very good security, you need to have a door, because sometimes what you have built can become an evil, and you need that door to kind of manage that, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, you definitely want to achieve the good usability, but with security, it might take a slower path. And I'll give you an example of how we have taken that journey, right? I just now mentioned to you about, we launched those 5 different products under one bundle, and we did understand that it could be a user experience issue for customers to understand that, hey, which product to start with, what should be my order, how should I do it. And when we realized that we have to solve that usability problem, then we introduce, or we are going to introduce, the Vault console concept, right? That is the step up in the user experience, but that is not a step down in security. Basically, what we are trying to do here is, by improving the usability, we are making the implementation of security simplified, and hence making your making the customer environment more secure, right? So I think we just need to find the right appropriate paths where we can simplify the usability. But I do not believe that security should be completely usable in a sense. I don't think it's even possible at all.
I would think I would add few more points over there, that I think in order to achieve the security with usability, it needs training, it needs efforts from everyone, right? From your inception, from the idea to eventually you release in the market, right? You need to ingrain that security mindset everywhere. Because I think, Jace, you mentioned about earlier version of ServiceNow where everything was open, and now you have to reduce it because you are adding customization that brings friction in your use cases. But now, if it's secure by default, and now if you have to open for the right access, that makes very easy, because that's your conscious choice that you are allowing access to this specific users. So I think I agree with Bhakti says there is no right or wrong answer. It's an effort that we all have to make in order to make it more usable and user friendly.
Awesome.
Okay. Uh, we talked a lot and we are approaching time, but where can listeners learn more about ServiceNow security, or they can get involved in discussions? Because this is like a gold mine to me in this episode, because I got to know lots of stuff. Despite being in ServiceNow ecosystem so deep, still I don't know about these stuff. So is there any place or any recommendation? You can use it as a shameless plugs as well, but
Yeah, I think I would start with like the standard ones. Definitely take a look at our product documentation. That's where you will find most of the data, most of the announcements, right? But that could be your passive way. I think that's something, as we say, continuous learning, that could be your continuous learning path. But beyond that, I would say we are very active in posting the podcast. We also run academy sessions. We also, if you are coming at knowledge, make sure that you attend our sessions. You will learn even more there, because we're going to talk about the roadmap. Knowledge is in May. So we're going to talk about both the Vault roadmap as well as the platform security roadmap. So you will hear even more in depth, as well as, I love the idea, Dhruv, that let's have the conversation, right? I think once knowledge is limited to one's knowledge, when it becomes the crowd knowledge, that's when we kind of actually learn a turn in a very small period of time, right? I think so. That's something I think, Dhruv, you and Jace can drive, right? People like you who talk about security, support security, get those discussions going. I think platform like these will be fantastic for us to kind of come and talk more about it. And beyond that, on our LinkedIn, we keep posting newer stuff that we are coming up with, or if we are going for any sessions, we are hosting any sessions. So follow each other. I think this is a connected world. So make sure that we all follow each other and learn from each other, contribute to each other's success. Um, uh, and I think we have demos, we have YouTube channels, so you can Google us on YouTube. We have community channel, we have idea portal. If you want something that you want us to build, please go, A, submit the idea, B, most important, vote for it. If you don't vote, we don't get to pick. So more you vote, more we can prioritize that. But those were some of the resources, I would say. Pratik, do you have anything more to add?
No, I think you covered almost everything. So standard product documentation, community blogs, all the artifacts that we generate from official ServiceNow channels. Engage us whenever possible via LinkedIn. Invite us more often. We are happy to talk more. Almost we ran out of the time, so we can talk more for sure. So I think that those are the kind of mediums that I would suggest.
Shameless plug. I'm presenting on Access Simulator in Knowledge as well. So
That's exciting. I love that, too, and I'm gonna be there for your session for sure. But I highly recommend you all to come to that session. It's a very exciting feature. I don't want to give any spoilers. I'm gonna keep it for Dhruv to kind of do his stuff. But you definitely have one audience. That's gonna be me, and I'm sure Pratik is the second one.
Yeah.
well, Jace is the first one, to be honest.
Oh, is it? Then we have three.
Well, awesome. Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. I think that's going to bring us to an end here. Great conversations. We covered access control fundamentals. We covered ServiceNow Vault. We talked about AI. Seems like every conversation has to have it. Appreciate you guys on.
Uh, yes, Jess, if I may, I really, real quick want to give a shout out to our ServiceNow team who build these amazing products. All the engineers, our awesome PM team who actually have built. I mean, me and Pratik can talk about all this product, but you can imagine that there is a team behind all of this. So, real quick, Mike Selam, Barkha, Stefano, Kathy, Sandeep, Randir,
Sanchita.
Prabhu, Sanchita, Pratik, of course, Idzik, and our great leader, Amanda Grady. We have an awesome team. We are always ears for the feedback. If you can let us know what we can do better and more, we are more than happy to listen. Use that idea portal, click. But again, I just wanted to give shout out to all these amazing engineers, amazing PMs, amazing QE doc, everybody who made this happen. This
I'm
amazing product.
writing. I'm writing down the names for the next go live as well.
I know, right? I'll give you that offline for sure. These are amazing PMs, by the way. You definitely want them on.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well,
Would it be a
until
live?
next time. Oh, what's that, Dhruv?
I was saying like, how about if we create a community article for our stream and get some good links and references for people, LinkedIn profiles, and dump that on that article?
Love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely can work with you, Dhruv and Jace, on that one, and then you guys can post it in the community. Yes.
Fantastic.
All right. And we want to thank you both for having us. Thank you so much. And you have an amazing audience. We hope they've got something out of this session. We are always available on LinkedIn or anywhere else where you find us. You can ping us, text us, and we generally respond in what, 24 hours, 48 hours. So
Awesome. Thanks all. Let's end it here.
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you
Take care.
for
Thank
your
you.
time. Right.
Bye.